Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the FLOWTECH FLUIDPOWER PLC Annual General Meeting. Throughout this recorded meeting, attendees will be in listen-only mode. Questions are encouraged and can be submitted at any time using the Q&A tab just situated on the right-hand corner of your screen. Just simply type in your questions at any time and press send. It gives me great pleasure to hand over to Chairman Russell Cash. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Mark, and good morning, everybody. It is 10:00 hours on a gorgeously sunny Tuesday morning, 13th of June. It's our AGM, so welcome everybody. I shall declare the meeting open. We do have an appropriate quorum by reference to the fact that both myself and my fellow director Stuart Watson are sat in a room in Wilmslow together. Myself and Stuart are both statutory directors. We both are shareholders. Between us, we hold just over 57,000 shares in the company. Just some brief introductions. With me in Bollin House in Wilmslow, as the saying goes, in no particular order. To my immediate left, visible on the screen, is Mike England, our Chief Executive Officer, who joined us relatively recently. Also in the room is Chitra Ramachandran, our Group Financial Controller. We're also joined by James Kerrigan from DLA Piper, the law firm, and Lorraine Lakey from Link. That's a nice bit of alliteration, Lorraine Lakey from Link. If anybody's got any questions on the agenda for the formal business, I'd ask them to use the IMC chat piece to sort of raise them imminently. If there are any questions, I shall then move on to the formal business and turn to each of the resolutions in turn. But just before doing so, I've just referenced that myself and Stuart between us have, or to be precise, 57,140 shares. And I am voting in favour of each of the 13 resolutions. And Stuart, could you just provide the audience with your view?
Yeah, and I too will be voting in favour of all the resolutions. Thank you.
So I mention that just because all of the numbers you'll see on the screens that follow currently exclude those shares. So you just need to make a mental note to add what is a very minor sum in the scheme of things to the position. I'm sat on proxies representing 39 million or just over shares. Quite pleasing that we've got 65% or thereabout of our shareholders, voting. So without further ado, I will turn to each of the resolutions in turn. Resolution 1 relates to receiving and approving the report and accounts, the strategic report and the auditor's report. And if you could click to the next page, unsurprisingly, we have 100% of the votes cast in favour of that resolution, which is therefore passed. Resolution number 2 refers to our intention to pay a dividend of 2.1 pence per share. That payment is due to be made on the 21st of July, with reference to shareholders on the register at the close of business the 23rd of June. And again, unsurprisingly, we have 100% of votes cast in favour of that resolution, which is therefore duly passed. I'm going to deal with the next 6 resolutions combined. They relate to the reappointment of the statutory directors. The first 2, Mike England and Stuart Watson, were appointed to the board in the period since the last AGM, and our articles of association require us to put their reappointment to this very meeting. Resolutions 5 through to 8 deal with those statutory directors who were already in place this time last year, but just to comply with the principles of the QCA Corporate Governance Code, as a matter of course, we include all directors in this re-election process each year. And I should say, just before moving on, I should have said at the start, but the fact that I'm chairing this meeting is because our chairman, Roger McDowell, has taken a brief spell out of an active role on the board. He remains on the board, but Roger has a family health matter which he very understandably is taking some time out to focus on. He will return in September. In the interim period, the chairman of the company is in the very reliable hands of Jamie Brooke. And I should equally have said that both Jamie and Ailsa as the other two non-exec directors are dialed in remotely to this session. Forgive me for not mentioning that at the outset. So back to those resolutions 3 through to 8. You'll see that in each case there's a significant majority in favour of the reappointment. So on that basis, each of resolutions 3 through to 8 are duly passed. Resolution number 9 deals with the reappointment of Grant Thornton UK LLP as our external auditors. And next slide, again, a significant majority of votes in favour of that reappointment, and the resolution is duly passed. Resolution 10, I guess linked to the previous one, to authorise the director of the company to approve the auditor's remuneration. Again, resolution duly passed with a very significant majority in favour. Resolution 11 provides the company with the ability to issue new shares. Significant number of votes against, but rather more in favour. Given that this is an ordinary resolution, it is duly passed. That said, we note that there is a significant vote against, and we shall be duly noting that in the communication following the AGM and on our website, I believe. Resolution number 12 deals with the disapplication of preemption rights. The resolution we put to the meeting is in entirely standard form, but we respect the this is a special resolution and therefore requires 75% majority to vote in favour, and the mathematicians in the audience will appreciate that 11.6 million out of a total of 39.1 million is in fact 29.7% vote against, and therefore on that basis that resolution is in fact rejected. We shall duly note that. Suffice to say, there is no immediate intention to raise any new funding, and equally therefore to disapply any preemption rights. So as I said, that is a normal course of business resolution. In this case, it's been voted down, so we should duly note that. And finally, resolution 13 provides the company, if it chooses fit, if that's the best use of its capital, to purchase its own shares. Significant majority in favour of that resolution, which is therefore duly passed. That actually, in the space of 8 minutes, concludes the formal business of the meeting. There is an opportunity for any questions that have been raised to be answered, but I'll just pause because at the moment there are no said questions. So on that basis, Mark, if what question pops up late, we shall return to it, but on that basis, Mark, I shall conclude that business has been conducted and pass back to you, good Sam.
That's very kind of you, and thank you, Russell. There are just a couple of questions just coming through on the platform as we speak. I don't know if you want to have a look to see if there's anything there that fits within today's meeting.
Do you want to take hang of this?
Yeah, I'll take them in the reverse order. There's a question, would the board consider enacting an active share repurchase programme to offset the potential dilution from the recent LTIP awards? The simple answer to that is yes. You know, the idea, the concept of buying back own shares is something which has been considered by the board, will be considered by the board. Appreciate the comments sort of linking to the LTIP position. So yes, I mean, I say obviously, but we're keen to manage down our debt position. I think we're doing a reasonable job with that. You'll hear more about that when we announce our half-year results. But yes, is the simple answer. We have considered that in the past, and we definitely will in the future.
I'll just answer to Alistair around first impressions. I will just caveat that I think I'm on around day 35 working days, but Delighted to be part of the organisation. I've been in the market for over 27 years and know FLOWTECH Fluid Power PLC from my time in industrial distribution. I think we have an enormous opportunity in this company. I think the market that we serve in terms of industrial end user customers, both maintenance, repair and operations, OEM customers, and also through our distribution and resale channels, gives this business an opportunity to continue to serve industry through what are a range of very, very technically orientated products as a specialist distributor and service provider. I think the business isn't yet fully harnessing the power of the group, and my objective in terms of how we drive change in the organisation is to really leverage the power of the group for us to be able to gain greater market share over time. But very early days, but I'm feeling very energised and very excited about the opportunity, and there's no real surprises, only opportunity.
Mike, Russell, thank you very much indeed. That takes care of all the questions that we have from attendees on today's call. So with that, could I please ask attendees on the call not to close this session, as we'll now automatically redirect you for the opportunity to provide your feedback in order that the board can better understand your views and expectations. This will only take a few moments to complete, but I'm sure will be greatly valued by the company. On behalf of the board of FLOWTECH Fluid Power PLC, I'd like to thank you for attending today's annual general meeting. Good morning to you all.